exciting a new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
I'm Zach.
And this is Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Not so final.
They only did 9 more after this one.
That's nice.
I was just trying to do our own sound effects since we don't have.
Oh, maybe
them
I'll
on
try to
there.
add that in on I'll post production it.
Well, I was looking
I'm
them
not
up.
gonna
They
do that.
did one every year. So were the 3 before this 83, 82, 81?
No, it was 80,
80
81,
was the first
82.
Okay.
And then they missed a year last year.
And then it's
Yeah.
every
did
year,
84.
pretty much.
And then yeah.
Yeah, because we're doing part 5 next year.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter, rated R. Running time is 1 hour, 31 minutes. Released Friday, April 13th.
Huh.
Friday the 13th, 1984. 1 week before Crispin Glover turned 20. So he was 19.
Oh.
Directed by Joseph Zito. His top 4 included Friday the 13th, the final chapter, Missing in Action, which we could do this year.
Oh, Chuck Connors.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Oh, God.
Chuck Norris. It's a good movie.
The Prowler and Invasion USA.
Another Chuck Norris movie.
Top
Oh,
4.
really?
Yeah.
Our Internet Movie Database description is after being announced dead and taken to a morgue, Jason Voorhees spontaneously revives, escapes from the hospital, and stalks a group of friends renting a house in the countryside near Crystal Lake. How about that? I have a few taglines for you. Friday, April 13th is Jason's unlucky day. That was a good one. I like that one. 3 times before you have felt the terror, known the madness, lived the horror. But this is the one you've been screaming for because Friday, April 13th will be Jason's unlucky day. That's the long version.
Yeah, it's long.
Jason is back, and this is the one you've been screaming for, and this is the one you will be dying for.
Oh. Oh, no, I died for it. That's nothing to be proud of.
No.
I'll tell you, this movie starts off with the part 2 narration with the guy telling everybody the story of Jason.
It's got a death curse.
And it's Ralph and the whole gang. But
You got a lot of archive footage. I'm not going to go through them.
No, you're
Yeah,
not going to
yeah,
go through all that.
We
But
have a lot of
And that archive footage doesn't count in a body count, right?
No,
'Cause-
no,
Okay. Not that I was counting
the
in my head.
funniest thing
Just
about
now.
that is, as he's telling that story to the people around the campfire, those same people are dying in the cuts of the films
Yeah.
that they're showing. So as he's telling these people, they are also dying while he's telling
He's
the story.
telling the story of them dying.
Yep.
Yes.
I love that.
Up first, we have Rob, who was played by Eric Anderson.
All right, Rob was the dude at the end who was telling us that Jason was killing him in the basement there.
Oh, my God. He's killing me. No shit.
That was horrible. Like, run! He's killing me!
Yeah.
He's killing me! You better get out of here!
And she went back down those dark ass steps
Yeah.
into the basement. I was like, "Are you fucking crazy?" Oh my god!
We lost Eric Anderson this
Oh,
year.
wow,
May
damn.
31st, 2024, age 67.
He had been young.
Esophageal cancer.
Oh.
Smoker.
Esophageal cancer. Yep. Friday the 13th, the final chapter is in his top 4. He was in 1 episode of NCIS out of 469 episodes.
I missed that one.
He looked
My
like one of those
God.
NCSI guys,
And he
or
was in
NCIS guys, whatever.
Unfaithful. I think that was a.
I saw that. If it's the Richard Gere,
I
Diane
think
Lane.
it was the Diane Lane,
Yeah, where
Richard
she's
Gere.
cheating on her husband.
Yeah.
And Beyond Suspicion.
I thought you were going to say
Beyond
Beyonce.
Suspicion.
I thought he was going to say Beyond Thunderdome.
Beyonce's Lemonade. No, I mean
Yes.
Beyond Suspicion. Up next, we had Samantha, and she was played by Judy Aronson, Aronson. We do know her.
Samantha was the girl that was killed on the raft.
Oh, the raft girl. Okay.
When Jason must have scuba dove over there. 'Cause
Yeah, he did.
Out of nowhere. He
scuba
didn't see
dove.
him.
He's good in the water.
He is. That's true. He's of the water. Yes.
She played Hilly in Weird Science.
Yeah. She's
That's
the
where I
brunette.
know her from.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th's in there as well. She was in 3 episodes of Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh.
And she was also in American Ninja. Playing Doug was Peter Barton.
Doug.
Doug
You wanna know who
was.
Doug was the dude that got killed in the shower.
Pretty
Oh,
long,
okay.
The
long
very
Okay.
good,
Yep.
very good looking
Good-looking
guy,
one.
and
Yep.
he got
Yeah.
his face smashed
Doug
in.
was a nice guy.
Terry
He was a nice
thought
guy,
he looked
yeah.
like Donnie Osmond.
He did
can
have
see
an
that.
Osmond
Yeah, he
film,
had Donnie
yeah.
Osmond look to him.
Friday the 13th, final chapter is in his top 5, along with Hell Night, The Powers of Matthew Starr, all 22 episodes. I don't know what that was.
Oh,
And he was in Pacific Blue, one episode of Pacific Blue.
So this was his biggest role.
pretty much, yeah.
I mean,
He
he
was
was
a good
doing
looking
good.
guy too. You would have thought like he would have gotten
I
more
thought,
roles.
yeah, he
Yeah.
seemed like.
Well, he signed his death warrant when he had premarital sex because he died shortly
But Crispin
after that.
Glover made it.
Yeah, we didn't
Sorry,
get there yet.
spoiler.
Please. Do you know his middle name?
Crispin Glover's middle name is it like Marty or something?
That's
funny?
really interesting. I'll get to it.
okay.
We'll get there, yeah. Playing Trish was Kimberly Beck.
Trish was
Trish,
the older sister,
sister?
the one that
Okay.
lives.
Yes. You may know her from Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
I do.
But she was in The Big Blue. She was a housewife in Independence Day. The big Will Smith movie.
Yeah.
and she was just called housewife.
That was her role.
She was probably like a neighbor or
Oh, there was
something.
a
It was like a
neighbor.
quick
There was a
scene where he just shows
neighborhood.
somebody or
Yeah.
whatever, you know?
When he's bugging out of there, when he doesn't see the spaceship
Yeah,
at first,
when
and
he
everybody else
gets
is
the-
freaking
yeah.
out. Maybe
Who played Gordon?
We'll get there. We'll get there. Because that dog.
That's a very smart dog, by the way. But Kimberly Beck was also in one episode of The Munsters, 2 episodes of The Brady Bunch. She was in the Davy Jones episode.
Nice.
And she was in the episode where
Love Davy Jones.
Jan and Marcia work at the ice cream shop, but Marcia gets fired, but they keep Jan on.
And but Marcia got Jan the job. Yeah.
Yep.
So she must have been, I mean, playing like Cindy's friend or something like that in Brady Bunch because she's
she's
like 20 here. So that's 10 years
Yeah.
earlier. So she had to have been a very young girl.
Flashlight Man was played by Tom Everett,
Who's
I don't
Flashlight
know who
Man?
Flashlight
the
Man
guy with the
is.
flashlight.
But at what part? Like,
I don't know, but he was in Chip's 99 TV movie. I want to check that out. Chip's
They've all
made a
done like
movie.
rant that's like this guy played Eddie Haskell or whatever.
I'm
But he
just
was,
thinking
this
of,
guy was in a lot. He was in Dances with Wolves, Air Force One, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Wow, all big
and,
movies,
and The
man.
Alamo.
The only thing I can think of flashlight things was at the first scene in the movie where the helicopter was checking out
Flashlight
this,
Man.
I don't.
There's
recall
nobody else in
Flashlight.
this movie that's a random person
The
after
first
that
scene
first
is when they
scene.
pick up his body and take him to the hospital.
After that first scene, everybody else is kind of like a
A main character.
role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not finding anything.
Flashlight Man.
And he's this high on the list. Jesus, man. He's
Yeah,
beating
he's
some
right
note.
before the guy who played Tommy,
That's
Tommy. Which
Corey.
one? Was, oh,
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. Okay.
And you want to try his top 4?
Goonies.
Firstborn.
Goonies is in there. No.
No.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys is in there, yes.
License to Drive.
No, great movie, though.
Stand by Me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
good
I got
movie.
3.
Man, Corey Feldman's got a great filmography.
He really does.
Up until,
Fourth one's good,
up,
too.
up until he doesn't.
License to Drive.
No, he just said that.
Oh, he did. I'm gonna get it first.
We're gonna get it.
Is
this
he
something
young?
We should get.
I had the wrong
Or
Corey, by the
teenager.
way.
Kid or
He's,
Oh
teenager.
yeah, that was Corey Haim.
Probably
Firstborn.
late teen. He's an older teen in this one.
Older teen.
He's an older teen in this one, yeah.
The Burbs.
Is it the Michael Jackson music video?
Boom. He
The
got
Burbs.
it.
Damn.
Nice.
I love the Burbs.
That's a great movie, yes.
All good movies, man. Now he's doing
His last
fake guitar solos for Limp Bizkit. Or
His
some
last
shit like
acting
that.
role was in Sour.
I wanna go to that show.
I do too. I want to see him solo, though.
Yeah.
His last acting role was in Sour Party 2023. I don't know what that is, but I did hear he has a movie from 2004 that he showed. It never made it to, and it was never released.
Oh, no.
But Jordan Peele saw it. Jordan Peele loved this movie.
Is it like the
Really?
Jerry Lewis
And they're try-
Nazi clown
and they're
movie
try-
that no one's ever seen?
It's not
More
that.
like-
It's not that.
it's like-
They're releasing this movie.
Oh, they're
It's
gonna
gonna
release it
be
now.
re-released.
The Room.
It's called The Birthday.
The Birth.
2004.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
And what's the
Jordan Peele loved
reason
this
that
movie.
20 years in they haven't?
The movie never got released,
It
so
didn't get a
nobody picked it up to
distributor
release
or-
it. But then Jordan Peele saw it recently, loved it, and now it's getting a release. So yeah,
Is it going to be a Jordan Peele like
Jordan Peele Presents, probably, yep.
something
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Well, man, that adds like
That-
$20 million to the box
that
office.
does give him
right
a
there.
little bit of a
Juice.
push. You know what I mean?
He's
Yeah,
having
so-
a big comeback right now.
He's a comeback king.
Yeah, I know. You don't got to tell me.
We're talking about
Here
Corey
we come,
Feldman.
the comeback king. Everybody knows that song, right? Here we come, the comeback king. No, You
I'm
don't
mad
know
he
it?
took his one album off of Spotify.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Comeback King, look it up. It's a great song.
All right.
Playing Mrs. Jarvis was Joan Freeman.
She seemed like she was
That's
too.
the mom?
She seemed like she was too good for this movie. Like, why was she like? Was she doing nothing that weekend? And they're like, "You want to be the mom in
She
Friday the
did seem
13th?"
too nice like that because she was in one episode of Facts of Life,
Okay.
2 episodes of Chips, but she was in 6 episodes of Lassie. That's very wholesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lassie's very wholesome. Yeah.
Did we actually see her die?
No, you don't
Okay.
see her body afterwards.
All right, I'm not counting her in my
But
in my
the
body
things I
count.
just mentioned were in her top 4. Her top 4 is the final chapter, Roustabout. I don't know that movie. The Reluctant Astronaut, and Come September.
Well, that other stuff you said was better than that. That should have been her top 4.
Now I don't know if there's any relation. I tried to look, but Lisa Freeman played Nurse Morgan.
Oh,
Joan
So that was
Freeman
the one that
and
got
Lisa
killed
Freeman,
in
yeah.
the.
she get
morgue.
killed in the room, the stock room.
After the other dude got killed. She was
Okay, she was the girl he was trying to
stocking the
get
sperm
with.
samples.
The one that was
whatever.
making out with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so for her, we have Friday the 13th, the final chapter. She played Babs in Back to the Future. That's right, Babs.
Back to the Future.
That's Michael J. Fox's girlfriend.
Is Babs?
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Yes,
That's Jennifer.
No,
Babs is her. Who's Babs then?
not his girlfriend's name was Jennifer, and
But
it was
who's
played by
Babs? I thought
Elizabeth
she looked
Shue.
just like her. This was
I wonder if it was like
No.
her best friend or something like that.
And Back to the Future, it was Elizabeth Shue,
And Jennifer was, and she was only in one of them. Because,
not Elizabeth Shue. Yes,
Yeah,
Elizabeth
yeah,
Shue.
but she was only in the second one, I think, or the first.
She was
one.
at the end of the first. They recast her.
They
It was a
definitely
different
recast
girl in the
between
first
and
one.
two.
Nah, she was probably just one of the friends
Yeah, I don't know her, but
of Elaine.
Babs.
But
I
do
think it
we-
was. You know how she had a group of girls with
Oh,
her.
that
yes.
does look like her though with the black hair.
She might have been Leah Thompson's friend in the
Friends, yeah.
olden days.
Yeah, she's with Leah Thompson.
Oh, okay, yeah. So she's
that's the
in
exact scene I was
50s.
thinking about.
Do we count the mom's death though? Because it's not on.
I
screen?
said no.
It counts. She saw him. She got killed.
You don't know. You never saw her.
Listen,
She
it's
might be
factored into
laying
my counts
somewhere.
too.
You know,
I know.
still
She was
alive.
also Motorhead in Mr. Mom.
Motorhead.
Mr.
Lisa-
Mom.
yeah, I don't remember anybody.
Was that one of the
Motorhead.
girl card players
Maybe
when they were
poss-
playing for
that's
coupons and
possible,
stuff like
yeah.
that?
Oh, maybe.
Because it was Ann Jillian was the main one. Yeah. All
That's the only time I can think of there's like other women. I mean, he was at the supermarket and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, we're over here on Crispin Hellion Glover.
Hellion.
Hellion. It is his real middle name.
Wow.
I believe Judas Priest would pronounce that Hellion.
His father used to use that as his fake middle name. His father didn't like his original middle name, Herbert. So his father called himself Hellion as his middle name, and then he gave it to Crispin when he was born.
Wow.
Top 4 for Crispin Glover.
I know
we
we've
have
talked
seen-
about
we have
him
seen
already.
him already,
Was
but-
he in?
I mean, Back to the Future. I would imagine one of
Did not
them.
make it.
But
None of
was
them.
we saw him
He's
in
only in one. His second one, they
River's
Oh, that's
Edge.
right.
River's
he-
Edge.
he sued-
Great. That's his
That's
best
right.
movie,
River's Edge
River's
is a great
Edge.
movie. It's in there.
He was in
yes.
My Tutor, right? We saw him in My
was
Tutor.
in
That's
My
He
what
was
we
in one
did
of the
him
Charlie's
already.
Angels.
He was the
He was,
skinny
you're right.
guy.
With the
yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
He was also in
A rat movie.
that Mr. K I showed you the
Rats.
trailer today. It looks
Rats.
interesting.
Willard
Rats,
or
yeah,
Willard.
Willard.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it was. Yeah.
But
yeah.
he played Willy Wonka in the Epic movie.
Yes, he did.
The
That's
Epic
right.
Movie.
Oh, his epic movie, one of those terrible
Yeah, the
parody
spoof
movies.
movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
He was.
He
Was
is?
in that? Yes.
I feel I just saw that recently,
Does
and he
he
wasn't
live-
in
My
that. But
Tutor,
Yeah.
which we did on here.
yeah.
And he's been in one episode of The Facts of Life.
Okay.
And in 1989, he made a movie called Twister. With Harry Dean Stanton,
I was gonna say, it wasn't
Dylan
the
McDermott, and
big
Tim
movie.
Robbins, but it's like
Wow.
it looks similar to that kind of movie. But
And
he
better
was-
cast.
And he was also he played Andy Warhol in the Doors movie.
Did he really? I do not
wow.
remember that.
That's
Me
awesome.
wow.
Forgot about that.
I saw that Doors movie in the theater, and I don't think I ever saw it again after that. So
I think I
There's a
saw
lot
it when
I
it
probably
came
don't
out
remember.
too, and
He's a
that was
musician,
last
too.
time.
Yes, he is.
At the drive-in, actually, the night you were there, they played one of his songs on the radio.
did they really?
During the
Wow.
intermission, yeah, clown or something.
Playing Officer Jameson was Wayne Grace.
Officer Jameson.
That has to be the first scene
Must
when
have
they
been in
were
the beginning
at the.
when he was telling him get in there, and
This guy,
there's 10 of them in there or something.
Yep.
I found a third guy from Seinfeld.
Oh,
This
okay.
guy is in Seinfeld. Wayne Grace was in Seinfeld. I'll tell you that after his top 4, which was Mulholland Drive, Far and Away, Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and another good movie, Fire in the Sky. I like that movie.
Was that
Far-
the alien one?
Yeah.
The alien abduction
And
one.
Far and
Okay.
Away was that Irish
Tom
Cruise,
Cruise.
Nicole Kidman movie.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Do you
but I
remember
saw
the
it.
I saw
episode,
it.
season 6, episode 12 of Seinfeld? It's called The Label Maker. is the name of the
Okay,
episode.
I remember that
Okay?
episode. Sure.
And Kramer and Newman are playing Risk. During
Yes,
this episode.
and they don't.
take
They have to
they
put the
take
board in Jerry's house because they don't trust anybody else's, so they keep moving the board
But
around.
they moved the
Yep.
board. They're on the subway train.
Okay.
There's a Ukrainian guy. Kramer starts saying, "Your Ukraine is weak."
Yes.
Because he was telling him that his board was weak. He's like, "My troops are coming in. We're going to take down the Ukraine." And he goes, "Ukraine is not weak."
And he
Some
smashes
Ukrainian
the
guy
board.
smashes
doesn't he?
the
Yeah.
board in the middle of the subway.
And
Oh
that's
my
the guy
God.
that's in front of the 13th.
That's him.
I
Wayne Grace.
still
He's
don't
the
know.
cop.
I
He's the
still don't know
cop.
who he is in this movie.
He's the
but
cop,
I remember
Officer Jameson, yeah.
I wonder if
That's
he's
funny.
like the main cop that was talking a lot. There was a cop that was talking more than
I'm
everybody
guessing
else.
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then up next we had Paul, who was played by Clyde Hayes.
Which one was
Paul
Paul
was the
again?
one that got the spear in the junk. He was the one that was with Samantha and then
Oh,
started
yeah, he
hooking up with
deserved
one of the
it.
twins
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of a
yeah.
sudden. Like,
That was
just
deserved.
like the girl's right there and he just starts hooking up with the
Two
other
movies
one.
in
I'm
a row
like,
and someone gets
wow.
it right in
And
there.
he was like, "I can't do this."
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, dude, you should have said I
You think
can't
she's
do
going
this.
to take you back anyway?
Yeah, you can't do this
You already did it.
before you do it. You have
Yeah.
to say that.
You jerk.
Yeah, he's the one guy in this movie that deserved to get a spear in the
Yeah.
crotch.
Yeah.
So we
Although
got-
I don't think the physics of that works. Once you jam it into someone, once you pull the trigger, it's not going anywhere. You've already jammed it in.
So we got his Friday the 13th final chapter, Neon Maniacs, and The Last Producer.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he was in 63 episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh, he's a soap
How many?
guy.
63.
Wow.
That's actually not a lot. That's like
half
a
a year or
2 month
something
arc.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I
like
don't know the show.
2 months.
They
Yeah.
probably have
It's
over
on every
14,
day.
15,000 probably.
Yeah.
Oh my
Holy
god!
shit.
Who
Yeah.
can write all that?
I-
Do they just
They
like
don't
take the
write
scripts
all
and
that.
shuffle them?
I
and
think
they
these
start doing
days
them
they're
again?
using Chat GPT to
Yeah, I
write
was
their
gonna say.
episodes.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I was asked to do letters of recommendation for people, and I walked in to Michelle. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And she's like, Chat GPT, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So I typed in who I wanted to do it for and gave a cup. Boom! Popped up. Beautifully written.
And
Yeah.
you
I
sound
read it
you
over a
sound
couple
smart.
times. I read it over a couple
Yeah.
times. I'm like, damn, I could not have said it better myself. I changed a few things just to make it specific to our
Yes.
place of
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
But it was the best thing I've ever written in
I
my
know.
life. I really want to write a book now, but I just want to type the idea. I feel like, here's the book idea that I
Change a
have.
couple words
Give me
around.
400 pages on this.
Yeah.
Change a few of the words and it's yours.
Yeah.
What do we got next? We got Bonnie Hellman. She played a hitchhiker.
Oh, she's the banana
Oh,
girl.
Banana Girl.
She
Justice
definitely
for
did
Banana
not,
Girl.
She did not deserve to get
No.
killed.
She didn't
She
do
did 80
anything.
for Brady.
Oh my God, really?
No way.
So she's still alive, or she's got alive a
So
couple
she's
years
at least,
ago?
what, 60, right?
I mean, probably 80 if she's an 80 for Brady.
I like her
She was-
sign.
well, no.
She
it
could
was-
not be
doesn't have to
necessarily.
be
Yeah.
an 80,
You're right.
but
She,
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
80-year-olds.
She had the fuck you
the fuck
sign.
you peace
I
sign.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Ready
why
for
she
it. She was
died.
like, what?
Maybe that's why she died. She had the fuck you sign.
Yeah.
She should have just shown that to Jason and he'd been like, "Hey, you're cool."
Why do I want to see that? Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, did she have a
Sorry.
did she have a character name?
Hitchhiker. That's all.
I was going to say
That's all
because
it
if she had
No,
one,
it
but
should have been
flashlight
Banana
guy
Right?
didn't.
She
I
should have been
believe-
Banana Girl. at
Actually,
Yeah.
least.
what her name was originally was Flubber Girl.
Oh.
That's what they originally called her.
Aw.
That's sad. Yeah, that's what they
fucked up.
originally had her called.
I like Hitchhiker better.
I do too. Lainey was played by Frankie Hill.
Lainey.
Lainey was the girl that kind of looked like
Oh, it
Sarah
was the girl.
Jessica Parker.
The-
She got
I
the
thought it was
axe to
Sarah
the
Jessica
chest.
Parker, too.
Funny too
Yeah.
because she was in War Games.
Oh wow,
Huh.
really?
Frankie Hill was in War Games. Yeah. She was in this, obviously, The Naked Face and Walking the Edge. I don't know that one. Sarah was played by Barbara Howard.
Sarah was.
Sarah.
I thought Sarah was a girl in the raft.
Maybe no. That was definitely Sam. Samantha.
No, Sarah's the one that bangs Doug.
Then that's the girl who looks like Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
The other girl.
Oh.
Who was the girl you said right before
Frankie Hill. I was Lainey.
that? Lainey. The only other people I can think about is the twins.
But that wasn't their name.
I got the twins. They're,
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that's
somebody
not
else,
them.
yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
who that. I don't.
That's Tina and Terry.
Tina and
I don't
Terry.
know who Lainey is then.
I'll have to look that one up.
There's
Yeah.
no Laney.
Yeah, that seems.
That's what it said in there.
Laney?
I wouldn't have made it
When
up,
they
yeah.
first got there, because I wrote the names down when they were talking to each other: Sarah, Paul, Doug, Ted, Jim, and Sam.
There were two nurses. There
Was
were
there
two
a
nurses.
second nurse?
There were there were two nurses.
All right,
So it was
maybe-
one of the nurses.
It's got to be one. Oh no, I know who Lainey is. Lainey was the other cop, the other morgue with the. She was the black girl. That was the other mortician, or they were driving the hearse.
Oh,
At the very beginning of the yes, that was Lainey.
Okay.
for sure.
I know.
'Cause he
Axel
calls her
was
Lainey.
the morgue guy.
Yep. See that? Yeah, that was her. That was Lainey.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I remember he said
Her
he said
part's, like,
something
so
to her.
fast,
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
But she has a few speaking lines. What was she in? What was that girl in?
She was that's Lainey, right?
Yeah.
She was in War Games, The Naked Face, and Walking the Edge.
Was she like Dabney Coleman's
Kid?
secretary or whatever? She's the one.
Secretary?
Remember at one point they're trying to get
Maybe.
Matthew Broderick and who's it, Ali Sheedy into the closed off place, and she comes running out in heels and is racing them into the thing. I don't know. War Games has been a couple of years, so
Yeah.
I don't
Up
know.
next, we got the helicopter pilot.
Oh, but wait, the Sarah Jessica Parker girl is
I don't know. You keep messing it up now.
Lainey,
You keep
and then
going back
Lainey, and
forth.
then
Lainey was Frankie Hill.
yeah, and then the
Okay.
next girl was
Barbara Howard was Sarah.
Oh, okay. What was her top four? Sorry.
Final chapter, Falcon Crest, 27 episodes, White Palace, and Lucky Stiff.
Lucky Stiff. Not dead fuck, right?
I don't think she was in a movie
I've
called
never
that.
heard that term used
Me
except in
either.
this movie.
Computer don't lie.
That is true.
William Irby was the helicopter pilot. His top one is this movie.
Okay.
So I think he was just a helicopter pilot.
They just hired him
Yep.
for the
Yeah.
day and said,
And then you had the doctor played by Paul Lukather,
that's the
Axel.
Moore guy, Axel, from Police
Yeah.
Academy.
Metal Gear Solid. No, that
Not
was,
not that
that's
guy.
Bruce
Oh, okay.
Mahler.
Oh,
You'll
okay.
get
Sorry.
Paul Lukather is the doctor. Mahler was the
Moore
guy,
mortician.
yeah.
Okay.
Lukather, the doctor, was final chapter, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, Soul Reaver 2, and Dinosaurus.
Sounds like a voice guy. I mean, if he's doing metal,
He was
Gear
in
and
2
stuff like
episodes
that.
of Bonanza, 3 episodes of Mission Impossible, and 3 episodes of The Fugitive. So he was that kind of actor.
He's an old
Yeah.
man. I mean, he's dead now, I'm sure.
Up next, playing Axel,
Okay.
this is the guy in the morgue, was Bruce Mahler.
Okay.
We know him from some stuff. Police Academy, obviously, and a bunch of the Police Academy movies.
Yep.
Friday the 13th. 3 episodes of Seinfeld as Rabbi Glickman. He's Elaine's neighbor. He's the rabbi. And he was also
can't keep a secret.
Yeah, he was also in 1 episode of Different Strokes. He plays Captain Jack, a pirate from a morning TV cartoon show at Sam's birthday party. Season 8 episode.
Sam, the little redhead kid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, he's got the honor of being the first person to die in this movie.
Yes. And awesomely, by the way,
Yeah.
the knife to the
this
throat, the
hacksaw
hacksaw
thing?
to the throat, and then his head turned around.
Yeah. That was pretty, violent.
That was nice.
Yeah.
It looked good too. It looked good.
We got-
That's Tom Savini doing the special effects
Yes.
right there.
I was just going to
I'll
say,
get
what
to
was
Tom
the
Savini,
Okay, sorry,
don't
sorry,
worry.
sorry.
what was the Prowler connection that you said earlier? The guy that directed this, maybe, or somebody did Prowler.
Joseph Zito? The Prowler was just...
Oh, he was one of the
because Tom
directors?
Savini did the effects on the Prowler,
okay.
I think, too.
All right, so we just did Bruce Mahler. Up next was Anthony Ponzini. He
nice
played
little
Vincent.
Italian boy.
This is the other guy who's in Seinfeld.
Oh, okay. So he's
also-
the other more guy.
He played the barber Enzo in season 5 episode of The Barber of Seinfeld.
That's a great
He
episode.
was also in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Hard Bodies, which we didn't do. Remington
can.
Steele. He was in 1 episode of 94. 1 out of 94 episodes of Remington Steele. Then I had Ted.
I was going to say, I know there's one
Ted.
guy, like,
This is the big
he's
guy.
way down
Yeah.
on the list.
I'm surprised he was this far. I almost didn't have him on the list. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
I hated Ted.
Oh, Ted
Wait,
was an
Ted
asshole.
was the guy watching the movie that
Ted-
was
Yeah.
laughing. Oh my god, I
Ted's a
hated
total
him.
asshole in this movie, but he's kind of making up for some shit that happened to him a few years earlier in The Last American Virgin.
He's the last American
gets
Virgin.
screwed in that
And I
movie,
said to
man.
Michelle,
Not in a good way
I was
either.
like, this guy, Crispin Glover, should not be taking sexual advice from the last American Virgin. I'm like, when this guy calls you a dead fuck, you say, you're the last
and
American
it was,
Virgin,
it was a
dude.
stupid computer that brought it up.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, that was...
You're the computer, dude. I would have punched him. I don't know what
that was,
beat the shit out
that was
of him.
kind of funny that he just like fake types into a fake computer. I was like, really, dude?
When he was
What are you
watching that film and he
The
was
stag
laughing
film or
the whole
whatever,
time
yeah.
he was laughing, I was just, please chop his head off right now. His laugh
That's the kind of guy you
was
want to get
so
killed,
annoying.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And that was actually a pretty cool death because the screen ripped behind him as
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
dropping
Yep.
down.
He kept having that same line over and over again.
to kiss the
You
teddy
want
bear.
to kiss the teddy bear?
Oh my god, couldn't wait for him
Just
to
die.
die.
I just look and your shirt
Die.
has Teddy right there. I'm
Die.
looking right at your shirt. I see Teddy.
Oh man.
I'm gonna kiss that teddy bear.
Next, we had the first twin was Camilla Moore, and she played Tina. Carrie Moore played Terry.
Tina was the one that hooked up with Crispin Glover, and Terry was the one that got
And Terry's
stuck
another one.
to the wall.
No, off-screen death.
Right, but you see her get jammed.
At least you
with
see
the-
her body,
but you see her
right?
get jammed by the,
The first one,
shadow
Tina-
or the lightning strike.
Tina was in 11 out of 13,425 episodes of General Hospital. It was the 1991-92
I was watching it like crazy back then.
They didn't like cast
So
the
you
other
saw
girl
him
too?
and her in 11 episodes.
Yep, I remember.
Like, that's the girl from Friday the 13th.
They were billed together, right? During the
They
credits?
were.
And then
it
Carrie
said
Moore
like
had,
as twins or something.
She was
Yeah.
in 17 of 14,939 episodes of Days of Our Lives, but she was also in Once Bitten.
Oh,
Jim
I
Carrey
remember that
movie.
movie. Yeah.
That's so funny that they both did separate soap operas.
Yeah.
Like, why is that funny to me? But
You would
it's
think the
very-
twins would be on the same soap
You would have cast them as
well,
twins
there's
or
always
something
twin
like that.
drama, you know,
But
so
that's
be
why they'd
perfect.
be in the same one.
Yeah.
Was there ever a General Hospital? What was the other thing he said? One day at a
Days of
time.
Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
No.
General Hospital
Beautiful.
crossover.
They weren't on the same
There
network.
was never a crossover.
No, different networks.
Playing the medic was Robert Perrault.
Okay.
He was in Star 80,
Yeah.
which we didn't do. Eric Roberts.
That
right?
movie was not fun. That was not a fun movie to discuss.
Well, we don't have to have all fun movies. You know?
They can't all
we have
be
plenty of
Splatter
not
University.
fun movies.
Gene Ross played the cop. He was in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. He was man in shower number 1 in The Goonies. Lost.
Oh.
He was in Lost Highway and this movie, Friday the 13th.
Do you think
the
your
final
checks
chapter.
come to man in shower stall 1 when you're cashing your residual
It must have been a
checks?
prison scene.
Yeah, I'm the
prison
guy.
scene in the beginning.
Is there a prison scene in Goonies?
There,
Yes.
When the
I feel
Fratelli
like
brothers-
we've had this conversation.
In the very beginning, they break out of jail.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we had this conversation recently about a jail scene and someone in a shower in Goonies, and we're like, yeah, remember when they're shaking the pipes? Didn't we have this
Yeah,
conversation recently?
That was a different person because that was when they were at the when they were underground.
Yeah, but it was also something like with water,
It was a
man in
recent
shower.
movie, though.
Yeah,
It was
that's
very
weird.
recent.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is a different one. Yeah. State Trooper was played by Terry
Oh
Ballard.
my God, so many.
I didn't realize
police-
there was such a cast for this movie.
This first scene had half the cast.
Terry Ballard was known from Deadly Intent, Fire in the Night, this Friday the 13th, and also Friday the 13th Part 3.
I wonder if he played the same
Return.
guy.
Yeah.
Well, at the very
Oh, at the
end,
beginning-
at the very end of part 3, they discover the body in the barn and they pick her up and bring her away. I wonder if like he's reprising that role in
Yeah.
this one.
There
Or
was
it's
a
the
man
same
at the
cop.
beginning who was standing in front of the barn, and
This one-
cops
it's an
come up to
uncredited.
him, and he's like, "Go in there. There's
I wonder if
10 of
that's-
them
I
for you
wonder
or
if that's
something."
the same guy.
He was uncredited, by the way, too.
Oh.
Tom Savini, also uncredited, was the Hitchhiker Murder.
Oh, that must be the flashbacks then.
Like, did he play Jason killing that hitchhiker?
It says
We're not counting the recap,
It
right?
says Jason in the Hitchhiker Murder scene. That was his role.
Oh, so I guess they didn't get Jason to do that. All you saw was his feet anyway.
And his top 4, Savini. You want to try him?
No. I'm Dawn of the Dead.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
he's
Sex
actually
Machine.
in that.
Yep,
Yeah,
Sex
yeah,
Machine,
okay,
and then
yeah.
Dawn of the Dead. You're right. Machete, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
That's
Oh, that's a
odd.
good movie.
I didn't know
Mark
I read
either.
that book.
Did he do
no,
the special effects for that?
It's like a coming of age
I
type
haven't
of
seen that.
story.
It's like the
No.
Sisterhood of the Traveling
I got
Pants or something
one
terrible
more
like that.
person
I
that
don't
we
know.
can talk here. Okay, Ted White. He played Jason. He was the oldest guy to play Jason as well. Passed away in 2022 at the age of 96.
Good run.
Natural causes. Starman, Romancing the Stone, Escape from New York, and Roadhouse. Some of that stuff
Roadhouse.
is stunts that he did for these
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
Nice.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think Jason's usually paid by a stunt
There's
guy.
way too much archival footage. All the previous
Oh,
Friday the
yeah, you
13th
can't count
movies.
that
So many
stuff.
characters from those movies are shown in this one.
Amy
flashbacks.
Steele.
But Amy Steele and Adrian King were both in
Yep.
that. So
Yes, technically.
if I had been there and they had a Friday the 13th
We
part
got through in less than a
4,
half hour of the cast.
I was
pretty good.
I after I watched this movie, I was like, I forgot how many people in this cast I knew. There's so many people in this cast.
This was
Cast
back
is
in the
huge.
day when they would do like a recap in a movie.
Yes.
I mean, the first 10 minutes of this movie
but all
are the
all
last two movies.
Part 2 was like that. Part 3 was like that.
Yeah.
I was grateful for it because, I mean, not that it mattered to this story, but I hadn't seen the other ones that I remember anyway.
So I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm almost positive this is the only Friday the 13th movie that takes place immediately after the one before. I know
think
2,
you're right,
I know
yeah.
2 and 3 are supposed to be like the next day kind of thing, but you're really this is the end of part 3 with the body still in the barn with the axe in his head and everything like that. So they never do that again.
And
they
this
never
was-
just like
this is
pick
for-
up the next day.
This is for Brian Alpin, but at the time of this installment of the series, this movie had the most nudity and gore out of all the Friday the 13th movies.
Oh.
Of course.
So let
There's
me
some
ask you a
good nudity
question.
in this. Even Ted's ass as he was running and
Yeah.
skinny dipping.
So this movie, the first one, is Jason, right?
No.
He had,
No.
The first one's his mom.
Mother.
Oh, I thought the last one was his mother.
Yeah,
No.
first one.
First one's his mother.
First one's it's his mom. Who is it in the second one? Him?
Jason except for part 5.
Okay.
Roy is in part 5. Spoiler.
Spoiler, that's next year. Gonna see it
I know.
later.
Don't spoil it
Oh
for me.
shit! Now you're gonna know it's not. Jason.
I will
Damn,
forget
I'm so
everything you
sorry.
just said by then. So
But they
it's
actually
fine.
showed Pamela Voorhees' gravestone at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was weird. It's just on the side of the road.
I was like, who paid for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this woman just like hacked up a bunch of people at the camp, and now you're gonna put her barrier,
Yeah.
put a nice headstone up there.
Well, this is also before the whole franchise got kind of like supernatural.
Well,
and
when they
like,
resurrect
yeah.
him in part 6, and then he's a zombie, then it's
Oh,
I
he's
think
a
that's the next
zombie.
don't they,
Wow.
they resurrect him in 5?
Is it
no
5?
5 is the one where it's not Jason.
I remember 5 being a lot of rain.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of rain in 5 too, right? I just
Possibly.
remember
Oh,
being a lot
at
of
the
rain.
end,
Yeah.
yes, when they're chasing Dudley around.
Yep.
And there's the wheat
Dudley from
thresher
Different
and stuff
Strokes
like
is in it.
that.
This is
yeah.
like a straight up. I feel like this is the quintessential Friday the 13th movie.
I
He has his
agree.
mask
When
the whole time.
people talk about Friday the 13th, they're thinking of this movie because he's
Yeah.
got a machete the whole time.
Yeah.
He's-
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, he's got the mask.
That strange dance that Jimbo performs at the party
It's the best.
was contributed by actor Crispin Glover and was based on the eccentric way he actually danced in clubs at the time. On the set, he was dancing to Back in Black by AC/DC as the scene was filmed.
There's no way that song is.
But then they changed it to Love is a Lie by Lion.
I want to see if somebody's uploaded that on YouTube, like put the audio.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is
right?
something
Yeah.
to witness. Yes. So they had back playing, but they couldn't get the rights.
This
to it or
is the
something like
last
that, or-
film in the series to pick up immediately where the previous
Okay.
film left off.
Yeah, I think it's the only one too. But 2 and 3, I'm not 100% sure about
There
that.
was
because-
an homage to actress Robbie Morgan when you saw the nurse's name tag, R. Morgan. That's Annie in the original Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay.
Second person to die.
Was
Was she the
She was the one that was hooking up with Axel.
the nurse?
They
Yeah,
were having
okay,
sex next
yeah.
to his dead body.
Yes.
It's like the
And
weirdest
his
shit.
hand is just kept flopping, and he tried to cop a feel. And he's just
Speaking
like,
of Axel, he's watching Aerobicize from
Yes.
1982.
Yeah.
It stars Darcy
And
DeMoss,
really hornily
who went on
watching
to
it.
have a role in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, 1986. So
Wow.
the girl in that aerobics video went on to be in one of the Friday the 13th. So I thought that
That's
was neat.
funny.
I like Nurse Morgan called him the Super Bowl of self-abuse.
Yeah.
That was a good line.
Let's see. Let's hear your notes. What do you got?
Oh.
And she goes, I'll tell you where I'm going. I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
The budget of $1.8 million for this film. It made $32.6 million at the box office. That's
Wow.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So, Dana, what video game was
I got
Corey
that,
Feldman
too. I was
playing?
gonna ask
Okay.
you.
What game was he playing?
Oh, you know what?
Because
I know
the
they-
sister actually
they
says
say
the
it.
name.
Yeah, I was hoping she
I
didn't
don't
say
know,
it.
but that I remember him saying he killed 35 people.
I got that too.
Aliens
I
or
got
something.
He got
35
98,
something.
90
35 aliens
and he
get
got
you
98,000 points.
Okay, yeah.
The game that he was playing was Zaxxon, which was like
Oh.
back in the
game.
old days.
I had that for ColecoVision.
But the
It was a real game.
arcade
Yes.
game was like the first like
that
really
was so awesome.
3D
Like, yeah.
game. Like you thought you were flying that ship through
Yeah,
all
because
the
you got
stuff,
to go
like-
up and down.
Yeah.
you
I mean, it was
go-
three
I don't
dimensions.
remember
It
this
was three
one.
dimensions on a 2D
I
screen.
love that
so you
game.
weren't doing
That's a
anything.
great game.
It is
Really?
a great game.
One of my favorite games.
It was one of those games you put a quarter and you play for like 30 seconds. You're like, that was awesome. Like, I want to go farther. And,
And
then
the further
another
you get,
quarter,
though,
and-
it gets insane. Like,
Yep.
things are shooting at you all over
of
the
course.
place. Let's see. What do we got here? I said the only reason Savini worked as a makeup artist in this film was so he could accurately age and properly kill the character he created from the first film.
Do you think he's like sitting there going like, this guy's been dead? I killed him 40 years ago and he's still alive. Although Jason hasn't done a lot in the last 15 years, but
No,
eventually they'll-
2009 was like the
yeah, I was
last.
going to
the
say,
remake.
I looked in 2009 was the last one.
Feldman
And that
got a
was-
lot of I guess looks at these girls. You know
Him
what I mean?
bouncing around on that
Oh my
bed
God. Like,
when Samantha and Paul were hooking up.
Oh, when he was
but
like,
what do you think? What do you
He's,
think
like,
they told
slamming
him
his
he was
head
looking
into the
at?
pillow.
Were they like, this
Yeah.
is what you're looking at?
Or did they
It's
just
the
say,
Easter
yeah.
Bunny and Santa Claus
Like
in a
you-
room together.
You just got the Nintendo,
Yeah.
or you just got the Atari 2600 for Christmas.
Yeah.
How would you look?
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
love that when you see a kid acting inappropriately. Like, what are they telling this kid?
Yeah.
really to make him think that? Just like the skinny dipping scene. I hope
that,
they didn't have a bunch of like teenagers like naked for him to
Animal
be
House or
ogling.
whatever. Thank you, God.
Yes, when the Playboy bunny goes flying through his window.
What was the thing that they said when Trish and the mom and Tommy they go to hug him in the kitchen, she says something and then they do like a group hug thing.
Oh, Jarvis sandwich.
Jarvis sandwich. I didn't
Jarvis
hear.
sandwich.
Wow,
I
I
watched-
What is
I've
that?
never picked up
It's
on
Jarvis.
that.
Corey Feldman, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear
That's
that.
her last name.
I watched
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
Jarvis
that's their
sandwich,
last name. Okay.
I watched this on VHS, and I don't have subtitles.
Did you really watch this on
Yeah, the
VHS?
VHS,
Yeah,
that
so
is
I didn't.
awesome,
I didn't
man.
catch that line. But Jarvis sandwich.
Yep, it's a
I don't
Jarvis
think
sandwich.
it had closed caption on it anyway.
I did.
Oh, I
Yours
had
did?
it. Yeah.
Mm,
Where
I
did
don't
you get it?
remember. Amazon. Maybe I just didn't have it turned on.
I rented it on Apple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would have thought you had the Blu-ray. I got the Blu-ray box.
Do you have the Blu-ray box?
I don't
That
have
like
the
that
box.
really nice like
My dad
big
has
one.
that. I just have the regular one.
Okay.
His dad's got a sick collection.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that
I'm
Blu-ray.
telling you.
I want to get that Blu-ray box. That thing's so awesome.
Got like a shirt and a poster. And all
Oh,
that
it's so
stuff.
good.
There's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. Did you see that comes with a chainsaw?
No,
Oh my god.
dude.
$250. So it's like, oh,
Crispin Glover
Hellion
is a
Crispin
stud.
Hellion?
He's a stud in this movie, dude.
He's
He
a
actually looked pretty
Holly's a
cute.
dead
He's pretty
fuck.
cute.
I don't know how they thought he
Yeah.
was a dead
Well, but did you
fuck.
hear
I mean,
when they first start talking? He says that he's like, "Oh, you fucked up with BJ Betty." Like he was dating somebody.
if the girl's nickname is BJ Betty, how do you fuck that up? man? Come
And then he
on.
goes, "God, I'm horny."
I heard that. I had that one written down too. That was a line that was used a lot. Multiple people said they were horny.
They were all very horny.
Yeah.
I'm horny was said in several different ways by different people I have here.
That's why they had to die.
I also never seen a banana squeeze melt like that before. Did you see when she squeezed
Oh,
that banana?
yeah, it really like
Yeah.
When she got killed? When
Yeah,
she,
but the banana when she
What, did
squeezes
she
it.
grab it?
I'm just saying I never saw it go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You would
Did
think
have
it would
like
just, you
a.
think it would just.
Do you
It was
think
a warm
Savini was
banana.
involved in the special
yeah.
effects of that banana?
It was a mercurial banana. She was the third person to die in this movie. I
She
wrote
was.
down the order.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know the exact order of everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. Do we want to talk about the order now? Because
And also, I thought it was funny that Tommy was Jarvis. Or he was peeping. He's a peeping Tom.
Wow.
I thought that was
Yeah.
funny.
He wasn't actually peeping. It just was.
He was
happening
peeping.
Right. He didn't. He was sitting on his bed. They were just getting naked next to his
That's
bed.
still considered peeping if you're looking over there. They're in their
Yeah.
house.
He's peeping.
He could have put a curtain down. I think I heard Michelle. I could physically hear Michelle's eyes roll. And she's like, oh, like Michelle would be like, put the fucking curtain down or
Yeah.
something like that.
He made the mistake by keeping his head that way when his mom came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I also never
Because
caught.
she knew. She looked over there and
she's
she's
like,
like, she
"Ah,
looked
no,
down.
no,
She's
no,
like, this little boy's looking.
I never
His
caught.
sister caught him later.
Yes. I think
She's reading a newspaper that says mass murderer's body missing.
yeah.
I never caught that before.
That's that's what you were telling
And
me.
this
that you
all
missed.
happened. I mean, that
Yeah.
happened like 6 hours ago.
It's in the
How
news
quick are
that-
they getting
that
that,
day.
Yeah.
paper? Like that happened the night before.
And they live in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you really think about it, and you shouldn't, but Rob, the dude in the tent, is looking for his sister that disappeared in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah.
Which technically happened like earlier that week.
Yeah.
Like, are you really
Oh,
looking?
that's how close these
two,
timelines
two,
are.
3, and 4 are all within a week
Back to
or a
back.
weekend or something like that.
Oh.
So how could he possibly even know she's missing
Yeah.
to go looking for her?
In some
and
of the
Jason
remakes,
did it.
They waited
Yeah.
a long time. Like it was like she went missing years ago. Like though I think the one from 2009.
Yes,
he's looking for his sister.
It's the same
but it was
plot,
a while
but
ago.
yes, it's
Okay.
like 5 years or something like that.
Film critic Roger Ebert called this film an immoral and reprehensible piece of trash.
What's wrong with that?
I love
After he
reprehensible.
pa-
That's
after
one of
he
my
had paid
favorite
his
words.
own money to see it.
Oh, the Chicago Sun Times didn't pay for him
Yeah,
to
he
go
had to
see
pay
this
his own
one.
money.
We had one man's trash, I guess.
I remember
somebody else's
like when this
treasure.
movie came out. So I was like 14 or whatever it was, and they would not release previews for it. The trailer would just be like coming April 13th or
Would be
whatever.
like, shh.
It would just be like
Yeah.
Jason meets his match or something. They would no trailer, no
Just see
no
like a mask or
previews.
something probably pop.
They were really trying
Did
to
you
keep.
see this in theaters?
Nah, I think
That was
part
only
s-
7.
I think part 6 was the first one, or maybe part 5. Part 5 was probably the first one I saw in the theater.
This is the first movie in the series to feature any kind of male nudity below the waist.
What was that?
I mean, it was
Ted-
a butt.
Ted-
Ted and Paul's
Butts
buttocks
don't
are
count.
shown during the scene where
That's
many
not-
characters are skinny dipping.
How's that true? Because you see Kevin Bacon's ass in the first one.
You see his beast.
You definitely see his boner. Kevin Bacon's boner is very prominent in that.
That's what it said. I mean,
Oh.
Hey, butts don't count? Does that count for girls too?
this film was
Yeah,
shot-
I don't think butts should count ever.
I mean, Homer Simpson shows his
I mean,
butt in every other scene.
obviously,
TV.
it's 2024, so butts
you
don't
could show
count.
male or
you
female
can.
ass on TV.
I don't know when you were allowed to start showing
I
butts
think
on
it was
TV.
when Hill Street Blues.
I was going to
did
say Sipowicz showed his ass or something like that.
Was
right?
No, NYPD Blue did
Did
it.
Hill
That's
Street
it.
Blues do it first or NYPD Blue?
I think it was
NYPD Blue took
Sipowicz.
a-
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see Sipowicz's ass.
No.
Dennis Franz.
No.
It's like,
You
dude,
show ass on
keep
TV?
keep your clothes on.
Yeah, then you could. In that movie, they did. It was a big
You
freaking
can't show
deal.
open butthole, but you could show.
You could
ass.
show the cheeks
Yeah.
though.
Oh yeah. I think seeing.
They show that movies of any kind.
But there's
I mean,
also
certain
something where
movies,
after
certain
like
kinds.
They have whole
10
movies
o'clock.
about that.
Yeah.
There's a whole section on the internet for that.
No.
I don't even know what they're talking about. I just
Of course
assume.
you don't.
Well, there was a
something
lot
for
of
the
nudity
internet.
in this movie. There was Tommy ran up on them skinny dipping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This
Did
film,
you
Yeah.
not see that? Because how did they film that? I didn't pay attention to
again,
whether
they might have shot that where
Well,
he's
you just
looking
see
this
him
way,
from the
he's
face.
looking this way,
Yeah.
like
he's never in
you
frame
never
with
see
them.
him
No.
in the frame. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
It was-
funny because the only girl you don't see naked, besides the sister, is the
mom.
the virginal girl that gets the axe in the chest,
Yeah.
like because she doesn't
Oh,
want to take
yeah.
her clothes off. She's on the
Yeah.
the dock, and the other girl drags her under. and-
Yeah.
When she's pretending she drowned.
Yeah.
She had a funny face when she came out like
Yeah,
that.
she
I
looked
thought
like
was
she could be
good,
dead.
yeah.
You're like,
That
oh,
was cool.
good job.
This was entirely shot in California. This movie, they did it all in Cali
Oh.
this time. Finally,
I said to Michelle, I was like, that lake has got to be freezing if it's in New Jersey, and she's just going skinny dipping in that thing at night.
Were the
But-
first 3 filmed in New Jersey?
Well, Crystal Lake's in New Jersey, so
But was it actually filmed there?
the
Or
first one was filmed in
It
New
was.
Jersey.
you can
yeah.
camp there.
Yeah.
They have a night where you.
Yeah.
The actual
you go up
camper.
there.
That's
filmed the
past like
first one.
Columbus, right?
I would love to do that.
I would like to do it too, but I don't know how much it costs. But
I don't either.
It looks
Can't be
looks
that much.
fun.
They
I
should
will
put a
absolutely
should put a
not.
drive in there and just play all the Friday the 13th
Right? That
movies
would be
and stuff
cool.
like that.
Get some investors. I'll throw
The
some money.
Jarvis family car is a 1970 Dodge Polara.
You can start it with a knife.
Apparently, and whatever was the problem with
And
it,
then-
I don't even know what part of the car that is that he was doing.
Paul's
that to.
car is a
Do
1970.
you know, Dana? You give me
No,
a look.
the look is like, why is Corey Feldman one responsible for being the mechanic of the family and the electrician?
I
Because
had
when their
that
power
later.
went out, she was
He's
like,
an
"Go fix the
11-year-old
power."
11-year-old electrician and mechanic.
Well, but that's like a trope in a couple of like if you remember Leprechaun.
yeah,
Remember the little kid that knows how to like do the distribution?
It's always like
tabs
it's
or,
always like the little kid that's smarter than the
That's a
rest
good
of the
trope,
family.
the spark
yeah.
plug things. Yeah.
Paul's car was a 1973 Chevy Caprice Estate station wagon.
So that's what brought them up there. It's
Yeah.
funny. There's a scene at the beginning of part 3 as well, where they're all taking the car together up to the place where they're all going to die, and they're smoking weed in that, and the cops come
Smoking dope.
The cops come flying up on them, and they think it's them
You got
that
some
they
of that
want,
wacky
and they're
tobacco.
eating it and stuff like that. And then the cops are actually going to the place that Jason has just like run through. There's some bodies there, and so
It had a
they're all-
Cheech and Chong vibe.
definitely
that movie.
Definitely, it's also the scariest of all the Friday the 13th.
That was
The,
part 3.
Yeah, it's an
black-
actual horror movie, I think.
Was that the car that had the open back that Crispin Glover and the
Yeah.
dude
They were
were
sticking their
sitting
heads
in?
out. There's
Yeah.
no way that feels good. Like having your head out the
No.
back of a
The,
window.
Yeah.
You're getting that like that vibration when
Yeah.
you're. Oh, that's not
Yeah.
good.
That log home was used in a couple other movies. It was used in the 1996 Arnold Schwarzenegger film Eraser.
Ah.
It was in the 1986 Charles Bronson film Murphy's Law. And it was in an episode of the 1980 TV series The Twilight Zone.
Is it a historical landmark now?
Should be.
Should be.
But both Corey Feldman and Crispin Hellion Glover later appeared in different films with actor Kiefer Sutherland in the same year.
Oh.
Can you tell me what those two
Stand By
movies
Me.
were? Stand By Me
Well,
is
Lost
correct.
Boys for sure.
And what movie was Glover
Oh.
in?
Glover was in a movie with Sutherland?
With Kiefer Sutherland, yes.
Is it something well known?
1986.
Oh.
It wasn't like
At
Flatliners.
Close Range.
Oh, I never,
Never
heard
saw
of that.
that
Saw
one.
Range. Neither did I.
And that's got Crispin Glover and Kiefer Sutherland in 1986. How did I not see that?
We'll see it in a couple years.
I guess so.
River's Edge.
Great movie. Crispin Glover's best, except
According
for Back to the
to
Future.
Jason performer Ted White, Corey Feldman maintained a bratty attitude on set. Feldman maintains that this was due to poor treatment by director Joseph Zito, and that during filming of the scene in which he attacks Jason with the machete, he was pretending that the sandbags he struck were Zito. Even with his attitude, White stated in interviews that Feldman was a very impressive actor.
How could that kid have any chance when he's surrounded by a bunch of teenagers the whole time? How is he supposed to act like a normal kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not in life. I'm
He
just saying
wants to
on the
be older
set
to
of that movie.
fit in with his kids.
Yeah.
He's got nobody else in the film his
Like
age,
the next year,
so-
he's in Goonies with his peers, kids his own
Stand By
age.
Me
And he
was
probably
his
acted
friend.
better
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm always going to take Corey Feldman's side.
Me
though.
too.
I'm team Corey Feldman.
Me too.
And
not
you
a
know
big
how
fan
I
of his
feel
guitar
about
playing.
Charlie Sheen raping Corey Haim.
I agree.
I'll bring that up every time. Let's see, what do we got here? What do we got? I got some more stuff.
Crispin's
for you.
amazing dance makes this movie.
Ted White was the second tallest actor to play Jason. He was 6'4".
Was Kane Hodder the tallest? I always
I
thought he
believe
was
so,
very
probably
big.
6'5".
So is Jason supposed to have like superhuman strength?
Not up until this point.
Not in this
Because
one.
when he threw with full force a huge male body through a
Rob.
window,
There was a lot of window throwing.
Yeah.
Or throwing through
Well,
windows.
also, like,
Yeah.
he grabbed that girl, one of the twins, like he had just killed Crispin Glover in the kitchen with the corkscrew and the machete or the butcher's knife, and then somehow climbed up the outside of the house
Yeah. In
Yeah.
an
to grab her,
instant.
to throw her
Instantly.
out of the
Yeah.
room, and then go back downstairs and stab Ted in the back of the head. And like,
Well, I guess you'd
he's
have
doing
to
too
have a
much
debate
traveling.
over whether or not when he gets to the hospital in the beginning, whether he's dead
He's not.
and comes back to life, or he was still alive.
He was stunned. I mean,
Okay.
he got a hatchet to the head.
then
so
he's
he
not
was stunned.
superhuman in this one.
No,
Like,
he in
Well,
part
he had some
6,
crazy speed and strength.
By part 6,
Yeah.
he is a actual zombie.
Well,
They-
now you
Okay.
pissed
they
him off.
Frankenstein him. They put a lightning rod in his chest, and
Oh
he gets
my
struck by
God.
lightning.
Are
and
you
he raises from-
serious?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's actually really annoying because it's supposed to be Tommy when he's older.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like he's like, this has got to end, so I got to dig him up.
Yep.
Like, why?
he's already buried.
Yeah.
In the original
But
script,
part 6 is a great one too.
in the original script, Tommy was supposed to decapitate Jason with the machete, but the filmmakers decided against this just in case they would want to bring Jason back again. But why would they bring him back any other way?
Yeah.
So what the hell?
yeah.
I mean, they
But that's a little
decapitated Michael Myers in the one Halloween, and he came back.
Yeah, decapitation shouldn't stop you from
Well, they didn't really
getting
decapitate
resurrected.
him,
It
but-
says
Yeah.
this is the first film where Jason doesn't kill anyone with the machete. Instead, he gets defeated by Tommy.
I like he takes the time to nail Crispin Glover up
Yeah,
to the door.
Yeah.
that is my favorite scene in this entire movie when he rips him down like
he's a
he is
door.
Oh, he
blocked
put him in. Then he goes to his hand too.
but
on
he's
the,
blocked
counter,
the,
right?
he's blocked the door with his body and just rips it down.
And
You
also,
see
the
this-
first of all,
stupid
that girl
girl
could've
could
went right
she could have
past
went
him.
right past him. She did not need to
No,
open the
but-
window,
but
climb
she-
out that
she-
window.
She could have run past one of the Doublemint twins that was just like on the ground
Yep. Yeah.
on the landing there. She freaked out. ran
No,
around,
that's yucky.
But then she
Yeah.
has to smash the window, climb out. Jason is only as slow as
There was a
she
couple-
needed him to be. Like
yeah.
she's chasing him up the stairs,
Yeah.
and he's 5
He's-
steps behind him.
I
Like
think
I can
that's
take my
He
scary,
steps in
moved
though.
2
fast a
steps.
couple times. There were a
When
couple
it
times I
needs
was
to
like,
be.
I didn't
Yeah.
know he ran fast.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, is it Michael Myers who's normally slower and then always catches you, or was it Jason who was slow?
Yeah, both of them,
I
I
thought
think.
it was Jason.
Well, this was still early enough
it's
that they
like
hadn't
everybody.
locked in all of the
The tropey thing.
Yeah.
He's always,
Things,
Michael
yeah.
Myers is always looking at you from a long distance.
Yes.
You see him. And Jason.
He'd like peer out behind a bush
Yep.
and is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
looking at you.
I thought it was scary when he moved fast.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
What? There was one time when the twin was thrown on top of the car.
That was
Yes.
great.
It was
All
so
the
obvious.
windows blew out.
So obvious it was a mannequin, but she came from the
Yes.
second floor. That looked like she fell from the
I
50th
know.
floor.
Dude,
when
you
they
should
made
have
it look, you know what I
should have
mean?
watched it on VHS. It looked real to me.
Gordon is. I have. Is Gordon the smartest dog ever?
Yeah.
And he lived, right? Do
You never
we
see him
get
again.
a final?
You never see him again.
He got
because
killed
he-
off screen.
He left with.
And I don't count him in the body count.
Yeah, he's not
Okay.
gonna- But you don't see his body. But
Where's the last time
So the
you
last
see
time
him?
see
when he jumps out the window.
when they make. Yes, they
How does
make
a dog
him
jump
stay
out
at
a
home by
window?
himself. They leave Corey Feldman by himself
Yeah,
and
to fix the lights.
Everybody
and they go
kept
with
getting
him.
like
Yeah.
they leave Corey Feldman alone in the house.
Yeah. Fix
the lights.
because we're gonna go
Yeah.
find the serial killer, and then Rob
I
goes
told
to
you
her.
to leave. She's
and
like,
then,
I told you to
and then
leave.
Rob goes, "You stay on this floor. I'm going down there." I'm like, why is everybody
Splitting
separated?
up? I
Let's
know.
split
It's
up.
like a Scooby Doo episode, but the dog jumps out of the window. I unfortunately
it.
know that dogs are not smart enough to jump out of a window
No.
to escape danger. I've
No.
had dogs die
No dog's gonna-
in
oh, wait, is that a
situations
window?
where.
So it probably hit the
Yeah.
ground and died then.
But I know that
Does
if
it
you
leave
jump
with
out,
its
like
nose?
dogs don't know to jump out
No,
the window.
they
They don't
don't.
know what's on the other side of that.
And- Unless they're
How does it lead?
chasing
With its
something,
paws
yeah.
or with its nose?
I don't know,
What
but the
goes through-
thing is, I'm sure there was a jagged piece of
Oh, to
glass
cut
that
him
would
all
have cut
up?
him.
Yeah.
But in my mind,
But how did they
he survived and
film
found a
that?
better family
Yes.
who didn't just let
Well,
him
the
go
kids are still
all
alive.
willy
Well,
nilly.
all dogs go to heaven.
Yeah,
But
Oh,
how did
that's
they?
true.
How did they
That's true.
film the scene of the dog jumping out of the window?
I don't
Did they have
know.
like a picture of a cat on the other side? They're just flashing.
It was
around.
probably
I
on
was
the
like,
ground.
"Look at that
They
cat."
just filmed it.
Savini again. We don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
It was a
That's
fake-
the best special
yeah.
effects in this
It was a
movie.
fake
about
dog.
The dog jumping out of the window.
Corey wore a skull cap to create the illusion that he had shaved his head.
I thought that was really strange. Like the
It makes
whole
no
sequence of him shaving
sense.
his head and
Makes
Like
no
first,
sense,
they,
man.
they explain very early on in this movie that he's a mask kid. He makes masks, and then he doesn't make.
He's like
make
a little
mask
Tom
at the end.
Savini.
Yeah, he just shaves his head to confuse Jason.
Well, he reads
that
the
Jason's
he reads the
seeing
newspaper.
himself.
Yeah.
Like that mask that he had at the beginning, the white mask with the big bug
Yes,
eyes.
That kind of looked like him.
When I saw this movie the first time, I'm like, oh, that's how he's going to confuse Jason.
Yeah,
He's
that's
going to
what
wear
Tara
that
said.
mask.
Tells
But this is
But-
so early on in the series that him getting the idea from reading those newspapers. Did the newspapers know like all this backstory about?
How
his
would they know any of it? It
mom
just
and-
happened last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
This is where Splatter University comes in. This happened yesterday.
Tommy's
Yes.
mom did tell him to get a haircut
And
earlier.
he did, yes. He shaved it all off.
Not yesterday. 3 months later, yesterday.
3 months later, yesterday. But yeah, what he took from those newspaper articles, they're like, you know what? I'm going to shave my head. Because I think you're supposed to think of part 2 where Ginny pretends to be the mom.
Dude,
Well,
my
he's
girl from
smart,
part
you
two.
know.
Yeah, he's smart.
He does the video games and the electrician shit. So he reads these newspapers and he puts together this whole thing.
but
Yeah,
when
he's gonna be
Ginny
a detective
fakes
when
him
he-
I'm
out
just,
with
I'm just
the
kidding. It was really
No,
stupid.
You're good. When Ginny pretends to be the mom, that's enough to distract Jason long enough that she's able to machete him a little bit. But
Yeah.
I think that Tommy's using the same logic. But how does he know that logic to use?
And why is he the one?
Look, because he's a kid.
She's the one.
Yeah.
Body count question. What do you got?
All
Give me a
right.
number.
First, are we
Come on,
including
it's
the mom?
obvious.
Are we including the mom?
Yes.
All right.
And Tina or whatever.
And Tina. Okay.
Yes.
I'm
Who's
going to
Tina?
go
What?
with
And Tina.
13.
Wait,
13.
Tina? The sister?
The one
twins.
that leaves
Tina's
and
a
then her
twin.
bike is still there.
You
Tina
see
is
her
here.
body pegged to
Yeah,
a
you
wall.
do
You don't
see her.
actually
Dead.
see it.
You see her body
I thought it
nailed
was,
up against
she was
the
nailed
wall.
into a wall.
okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. The only one you don't actually see is the mom, but
Okay.
she counts, and the answer is 13.
It is 13.
I have
I counted.
14.
14.
You
counting Jason?
Now, here's
I
the
didn't
thing.
count Jason.
I
You
don't know about
said
that.
Banana Girl was the third one killed, but I thought the 2 nurses and Axel died
Nah, you
in
only
the
see
hospital.
one nurse and Axel, Banana Girl, the 6 kids in the car, the Doublemint twins,
Axel's
the
1.
mom.
Nurse Morgan is 2. Hitchhiker is 3. Sam is dead in the raft. That's
Yep.
4. Which I love that she gets in a fight with her boyfriend and she just goes into the woods and she's like,
Skinny
"I'll
dipping.
just get naked and
Yeah.
go swimming."
And then think he's behind her, like sitting there,
I
like
know you're out
naked,
there.
like Paul, is that you out there? I'm gonna put my hands on
Screw
my
you,
hips.
Paul.
Yeah, then Paul, and then Crispin Glover.
Paul is 5.
Yep.
Terry is 6.
Oh, Terry gets killed
Then
first.
Miss
okay.
Jarvis off screen is 7. Jimmy with the corkscrew and
Yep.
the cleaver into the face is 8. Tina's thrown from the window. She's 9.
I got a third number now. I did a Google search. The death count for the that's the.
Are they counting the recap?
That's the 2009.
The recap
reboot.
does not
hold
count,
On,
yeah.
Hold on, that was 2009.
No, you're
I think
good.
it's 13 because
I agree.
This was going to be the last movie, and I feel like they did that on purpose.
The
And
only thing that throws that number off is if Jason's death counts.
in the beginning they
Because
said
it
that he
shouldn't
killed
count.
7 kids and 3 bikers. So in the previous one, he
That's part
killed
3.
10 people. So they had to up the body count.
The death toll in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is 2. Axel Burns and Nurse Robbie Morgan.
Maybe the first 5 minutes. That's what we're talking
What
about.
are they talking about? That's AI. That's a.
Because it's funny. No,
Oh wait, this is the first 1984 movie covered on the kill count. This is the first time where Jason gets killed. This was the
Oh,
kill count with the most
Jason
amount of
gets-
deaths with 14.
Yes, because of Jason.
But he's not dead.
I mean, I guess
don't
technically
know
he's
that
dead
he
because
is
they
dead.
resurrect him, so he's
Yeah.
he's
Body
dead.
count 14 is
I
correct.
just found the list of names, and then I saw Jason's. I was like, oh,
We got it at the same time.
Yeah.
Did BJ Betty
Jason.
die?
Off screen.
Well, he is a dead fuck. So did he kill her
Yeah.
with his
He
penis?
died
Is that
twice.
what happened? He killed her. That's how he kills people with his massive penis.
And then Tommy loses his mind at the end of
Oh
this
my
movie.
god!
Unless
And
anybody
you're-
has anything else, we can
and
get
tha-
into some
and that's
scores.
why I thought part 5 was going to have Tommy as the killer.
'Cause he
That was
opens his eyes at the
all
end?
Thing.
That was
yeah,
fun.
but
That
he's
would've been
in it,
fun.
right? Because I watched the preview for
Tommy's
part
in it,
5.
5 and
His
6.
hair's grown back.
It's
I also
not-
love
He
that.
actually went through a growth spurt.
well,
It looked like
it's
too.
also not Corey
It's not
Feldman.
him.
So
No, Corey Feldman
Feldman's
is
not in
he's
part
n-
5 or 6.
No.
There's a
But
little
Tommy
flashback.
is. Tommy is, but the
Shavar-
character is,
Shavar
but
Ross
he's
is.
not.
Oh, you know what? I watched the preview and they showed Tommy, and I was like, well, he looks older, so maybe that's why, because it wasn't actually Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So before scores, I have a couple things I want to run down here because
Okay.
I took a lot of notes, but I just want to make sure we get to everything.
wanna
So
make sure I got
I
through
said,
all
except
mine,
for the miscellaneous kills at the beginning, no one dies for 45 minutes. I listened to our
seriously?
Sam dies on the raft at 44 minutes in. I mean, now we
Oh.
lost the two people in the
doctor,
morgue
yeah.
and the banana girl,
hitchhiker?
but like those were kind of just all like they're miscellaneous
Yeah,
deaths.
yeah.
I listened to the part 3 podcast that we did a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and someone points out in that one, no one dies for the first 45 minutes of that movie. I was like,
Oh, wow.
Who pointed
said-
that out?
do you know?
I don't remember now who did it, but I just thought it was funny that that's their trope. Like maybe a couple random people die, but the main people are going to make it to halfway
You got to
through
watch
this movie.
the rest of the movie to get there.
Interesting.
So I already pointed out the fact that I think Jason had a scuba set to scuba diving kit to
course.
go out and get Samantha because he
Yeah.
pops out of nowhere. But is he just hanging out in the water? Waiting for Paul to swim all the way out to the raft and then comes swimming back to the
the
dock because
dock,
he
yeah.
gets him at the dock underwater. So
Yeah.
he's just hanging out. He must smell. He's very
Yeah.
wet.
You would think he
smelling.
wouldn't want anything to
Very
do with the
mildewy.
water. since he
Exactly.
The jacket's
died
got
in
to
the
just be
fucking
so
water.
stinky. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Jason plants that spear gun in Rob's tent. He breaks it in half and throws it in his tent.
Yeah, why?
I have no idea. That makes no sense.
Okay.
It makes no sense that
I didn't
Jason
get
would
that
take
It looks
a
like
full
he went in there
weapon.
and threw a fit and ripped all his stuff up,
Yep.
broke his
but
things.
he broke
and
the
yeah.
spear gun in half
Like,
and
was
left
he
it in
having
there.
a temper
Yeah.
And
tantrum?
Rob's like, huh? Like, why do you do that?
He did the Tim Allen thing.
So if Jason, okay, so at one point,
If Jason leaves at this
Trish runs out in the rain and finds his tent, and she's going through like all his stuff.
She just sits in it.
She
And
just sat in it like,
and then he slashes the tent. And I said, so if Jason was
she was
in
like,
that dude's tent, and the plan was to slash the tent but not bury the machete in his head, he's giving Jason a chance to get out of the tent and kill him. I was like,
What are
why?
you doing here?
Yeah.
And
Why do you have that in your hand?
What was his name, the guy in the tent?
Rob.
When Rob first meets up with the brother and the
When
sister,
he's
and they
helping to
take
start
him
the car.
home, they've known him 5 minutes.
He goes
He goes
upstairs.
upstairs
Yeah.
into his room alone with Corey
Doesn't even know
Feldman.
their
The
last name
mom's
because
like,
he's
okay.
like, hey, Mrs.
Yeah.
And she's like, Jarvis.
And then when he's leaving, she's like, just so you know, we always leave our door unlocked.
Unlocked,
if you
yeah.
want to come
We're
back
never
and take a
here.
shower.
My
Come in
teenage daughter will
anytime.
be here. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Nothing bad's gonna happen in a
But the
woods,
mom,
right?
Yeah.
the
Random guy?
the mom's death is so annoying because she walks around that house for like 5 minutes in the dark,
Yeah.
She says, "Where am I?"
Walking up and down. Yeah, she does say
Yeah,
that.
I caught
Because
that.
she's calling all the kids' names. She's like, "Where am I?" And I'm like, and then she decides to walk outside, and Jason just kills her. But you don't see her body. That was
Yeah, I think
dumb.
it was lame you didn't get to see. Like,
Yeah, I wanted to know
that.
what happened to her.
Yeah.
And I said, Jason was lucky that chick keeps looking out the window because she looks out the window, peeks her head back in, looks out a separate window, peeks her head back in, looks back out that window again. That's when Jason decides to act
I'm
and
gonna
grabs
do
her.
something, yeah.
I guess
Throws
kind of
up
if you
the
think
window.
about it, their whole family survives. Tommy survives, Trish survives, Gordon,
maybe
I
Gordon
assume,
survives?
survives, and the mom you never really see.
Yeah.
You know,
It's possible.
maybe
Yeah.
she ran off.
She could have.
Tommy, you stay here. Trish, you stay here. What would be a dog
He's
jump out a
killing
window?
me, Trish. Run, run.
I said
That
I
was
was
a long, like it was like a fight scene.
I always find it weird
Yeah.
when early Jason movies he cleans up his mess. Like the girl,
He
the
does that.
Sarah Jessica Parker girl, looks into the bathroom, and while the shower's broken, the dude's body's not there. He pulled the body out and
He
hung
really
that
likes to
nice,
rearrange
He hung that
things.
nicely on the wall. He put a spike through his head as he hung on, but he doesn't like to leave random bodies
Michael
just
Myers.
lying around.
Michael Myers does that too, though. He likes to put a body in a weird place where it'll pop out or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I did think it was really funny that in that house that Trish lived in that had these huge bay windows, when they're running away from him, she starts nailing the door shut.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
that's
my
gonna do
God.
anything.
That
at
was
all.
driving me nuts. You have these giant windows and you're locking them as if that matters. And then you're putting these little tiny screws
and you're
in your
staring
door.
out the windows as you're locking them.
Yeah.
Are you
with
out
all the
there?
lights on.
Yeah.
I think
love
Jason
that.
was just toying with Trish there. Like he was just letting her
Yeah.
run around
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he,
Let her get
at
tired.
the end there when she jumps out of the window, is laying, I guess, unconscious on the ground for a little while, gets up, he's still looking out the window at her until she moves. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's what he
Yeah.
he's like, God damn it! Now I got to take care of this girl.
and he's like, "Here's your boyfriend."
So she has enough time to go all the way back to the house, and then you see him walking up on the porch, and she's just
Yeah.
standing there, and he's like, he's Jason. He can just go in there and like cut her head off. And he's like, I'm gonna wait till she acts first.
Well, Trish and Tommy survived because they didn't have sex.
That is true.
Yep.
You're right.
Especially
She got a
each
peck
other.
on the cheek from Rob, but that was it.
Yeah, I really felt bad for the girl that got the axe to the chest. I mean, that girl
Yeah.
was virgintile until
But
30
once again,
seconds
the
before
Virgin,
that.
the Last American Virgin didn't get laid again either.
Yes. Dude,
He's just sucked
movies.
though. He had to die.
Two movies we've seen him in. That guy's not getting laid in anything. Oh, the poor guy.
What do you got on your? Want to do scores now? Or
Sure.
Does anybody
So
else have anything?
I told Jason today that I went back and listened to our Friday the 13th part 3. I wrote my score down first, and I was like, this is definitely my favorite Friday the 13th movie. Part 6 is right up there, but I was like, this is my favorite one, and I'm giving it this score. But I wanted to make sure, like, I didn't give part 3 too high a score. I gave part 3 a 70. Jason gave it a 60. And this was on a sliding scale of Friday the 13th movies. We're like, listen, it's not a 70 based on Citizen Kane or The
There's
Godfather.
no Friday the 13th that you're giving like a 90 to or anything.
Maybe. Part 6, we haven't done that yet. But so I gave part 3 a 70. I gave this one an 80. It's still my third favorite one. So I guess part 6 is probably a 75.
That's respectable.
But I had
What did
so
you
much
give
fun.
it? What did you just
I
say?
gave this one an 80.
80.
I had so much fun watching this movie again.
Yeah.
And it's as I say a lot of times, I'd watch this one right now if you wanted to watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's that
I would
much
too.
fun.
There's not much wrong with it.
This movie and part 2 are my favorite of the series. I like this movie a lot, but like there's 2 just it has something about it. I mean, he doesn't have the mask yet in 2. He's still wearing
The burlap
sack.
He's got the long hair. And
I like
Yeah.
that look though.
Oh, he doesn't have the mask
he
in
gets
part
the mask
2?
in part
No,
3.
he gets it in part 3.
Oh.
Yeah, so part 2.
Shelley gives it to him.
Something about part 2 that I just really like, but this one I give it an 84.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
And I love the Friday the 13th movie, so I'll watch them pretty much anytime. Really,
Yeah.
You know, but that's me, an 84.
All right. Tara gave it an 80.
I'm
Yeah.
very happy to hear that.
Oh, Tara loves the 80s horror movies, so
Okay,
she likes
cool.
them a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The first time for me seeing it, I've seen a lot of, to me, Jason and Halloween movies all blend into one a lot of times for me. I didn't watch them that often. But there was nothing in this where I was like,
You were
oh,
more
I
of a
kinda...
Freddy person, you
Yeah, I
said,
was a
right?
Freddy person. I watched all those. There was nothing in here. I was like, oh, I kind of remember that. So I definitely never saw this one before, but I really liked it. So I gave it a 75.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear those scores.
Yeah.
Those are good scores.
Yeah.
I also gave it an 84.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is not my favorite Friday the 13th. And I also don't like. I never caught this before. I told you, there were some things I never watched.
you saw
it,
some stuff in this that you hadn't
analytically before, but I don't like that they didn't resolve what happened to the dog
Yeah.
Or the
And-
mom.
and I don't like that we didn't see that. Like you were mentioning with the dude the Axel getting his head chopped, like that when he spun his head, it was like so violent. I was like, why wouldn't you show the mom? Like it's like an extra death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opportunity to show something cool. But part 8 is my favorite because I just like watching.
Part 8.
Jason Takes
Wow.
Manhattan.
It's so funny.
That's
I
'cause
like
it's so
watching
good.
him
I
walk
remember being on
around
the
New
street,
York.
yeah.
And he kicks
Vancouver,
the radio.
actually. Oh, yeah. There was that one scene that they filmed in Times Square, but I think
Yeah.
New York's actually Vancouver.
The I Love New York thing, and then like the boxing scene.
I was going to say,
on
it
the
does have
roof,
one of the best deaths ever, that one, for
punches
sure.
his head off.
Yeah.
At the drive-in, there was a dude. I was like, I didn't get it at first. There was
Yeah,
a guy
the-
dressed in a
the
tracksuit, and I was
yeah.
like, "What? Why is this guy dressed like that?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's the dude that gets his head punched off." I love
What
that
a great
movie.
cosplay.
And
Yeah,
it's so,
right?
it has
And
such an 80s vibe.
And that's
to it.
got Chrissy Snow's dad in it. Chrissy from
Reverend-
Three's
yeah, the
Company.
Reverend,
Yeah.
Oh.
Reverend Snow.
Yeah. But at 84, and plus because it's 1984.
That's
thought
why I
it was
went 84
perfect.
with it as well. Yeah.
I wish I
What are we
put that.
doing next, Andy?
I think we're doing Firestarter next week,
If
right?
we have our guest lined up for that, yes.
Okay.
We should be doing Firestarter, so that'll be a fun one, yes. I guess I'll tell everybody else where to meet us. You can come and check us out over there on Spreaker. Download, rate, subscribe, review.
I don't remember what
Do
the
all
button
those
was.
fun things. It's the Exciting and New podcast on all of our socials. I am exciting and new, I said, right? I got that part.
Yeah.
So it's The Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 over there on X Twitter. That's the part I couldn't remember. This has been the Exciting and New podcast. I'm Jason.
You can't ask me that while I'm trying to think of what my thing is. AEGonzo1 on Twitter, AEGonzo1970 on Instagram. I'm Andy.
Dana Caps on TikTok, Dana Caps 77 on Instagram. I'm Dana.
And I'm Zach. It's got a death curse.
Zach, thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Zach, they're killing me.
Zach,
Run,
you should come
Zach.
on more often, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Anytime.